Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. Tonight's guest is a powerhouse behind some of the world's biggest records. He's a Grammy-winning producer, a multi-instrumentalist, and the founder of Miami's premier recording spaces, Noisematch Studios. You've heard his work, maybe without even realizing it. From Mocha Sica no Se Toca de Alejandro Sanz to Natalie Cole's Spain Español, and of course, the global phenomena Despacito. This man has been part of music history, and he's just getting started. Please join me in welcoming to the show the brilliant, the creative, the humble, yet captivating force, Alex J Campos. Woohoo!
Hey! Oh my God. Thank you so much for that amazing and beautiful intro. Oh my God.
Oh, you are so welcome. I just met Alex just a few days ago in Miami. And hello, Patricia. Oh, you're going to love Alex. Patricia plays the drums too. Oh my goodness.
Oh, no way. Nice.
And she's an artist. She's got stuff at the Louvre and the Vatican. She is amazing.
Oh, wow.
So shout out to Mike, Dina, and Ali for VIP Ignite for this amazing introduction to Alex J, who captivated me immediately when he talked to me in my eyes, looking into my soul, like I was the only one in the room. And we had an amazing conversation, and we'll share some of it with you now. So Alex, let's start at the beginning. How did music first enter into your life?
Music? I mean, it's been in me since before me, I guess, because my mom, she was super into music. She was, she wanted me to be a drummer. So as long as I can remember, I was always musical. I think there's an anecdote, a pretty nice one from my grandma when I was 2 years old. She put like Stravinsky's Firebird. I don't know if you know that piece, or it's a very popular classical piece by Igor Stravinsky. It's a composer, and they knew I had the music thing in me because listening to it once, I was already humming like some of the melodies and stuff, and they're like, okay, wow, there's something there, and and then so it's always been a part of everything. I mean, it's so funny because I find myself like driving without music, and when I'm with people, they're so weirded out by it. They're like, why are you driving without music? It's like, well, imagine you had a radio, right, that never stops. That's kind of what it feels like. So I hear music in everything, like when you open a door, when the car passes by, when you hear the AC. Like I just, it's one of those things. Like even if I turn off all the music, I still have some music right here going all the time. So it's kind of funny because I love to do that experiment sometimes. So I'll just be driving and I'll compose songs in my head, or I'll be singing stuff in there, and it's funny. And even today I was like, man, I want to do something. I'm gonna just listen to a track, and I'm just gonna write a song in my head without nothing. So I put in like a track for reference. I turn off the music, and I just kind of wrote an entire song. Whenever I get to the destination, I'll probably have to write it down before I forget. But yeah, it's kind of like always been there, part of my language, my entity, But yeah, so and then I had amazing an amazing family, big support that they not only fostered it, but they encouraged me to go do, pursue that, whatever that was, whether it was, playing instruments or listening to music and going to concerts and taking music lessons. Like, I'm still blessed to have all their support. Yeah.
It's a beautiful life, living your dream and your passion. Oh, you studied music and jazz at the University of Miami. How did that experience shape your approach to music? I saw your little Miami diploma there on your wall, and
yeah.
There. So nice.
The whole thing was funny because I when I was starting the music journey, like seriously, I was like 15, because I've been playing music for like really, really since age 12 when I started playing drums. And I started getting serious, kind of serious at age 15. I played guitar and bass and singing, but went to a summer program in Berklee College of Music. Like it was like a summer program,
Mm-hmm.
and
Nice.
then I said, oh, I looked up to a lot of musicians, but especially the drummers, and I said, wow, like what do all my idols have in common? They all play jazz. And I'm like, I don't know what jazz is, but I want to find out. And it literally as basic as that. So I got deeper and deeper in it, and so I did 2 years at Miami-Dade College, which I love them. I love the program and the director there, Mike DeLito, which to this day, uh, amazing human being, an amazing person, and kind of gave me a platform to really start getting into it heavily because he saw my interest in that world. I had another teacher, Peter Francis, which had the patience to sit down with me and like teach me the language of like the big band music. And so I quickly got into this world of jazz, because it's a particular thing. It's like one of the biggest languages in music besides classical music. It's kind of like the other side of there's just so much to learn, so much to study and live through music. So I decided to just kind of learn from people that were masters at that. And fast forward, like, so I went to Miami-Dade College for 2 years, ended up playing at the Umbria Jazz Festival in Italy. It's one of the biggest jazz festivals in the world, which was pretty incredible because we mostly performed original material. So it was kind of like a super dream for me, for like, hey, I want to play jazz. And now I'm like literally a song I wrote in my room. Now I'm playing it for like 5,000 people on a world stage, because I mean it's one of the top 3 jazz festivals in the world. So it's kind of surreal. And all my heroes, like Pat Metheny, which is like a huge hero to me, he played the day after. I saw Keith Jarrett on the day after as well. Met a drum hero of mine, Horacio Negro Hernandez. So it's kind of like, it was like a surreal thing where I was like, man, this is amazing. But it just, yeah. So and that kind of transitioned over to the University of Miami days with Steve Rucker and everyone at the U, it shaped me. I mean, it was so crazy. It's like the movie Whiplash, kind of, where I was a transfer student. I had like 18 credits. I was still kind of producing as empirically out of my house. So I lived in Miami, and so it was a hard thing to balance, you know, school and the production thing, and the level is very high at UM. They had like a 10% acceptance rate. It's like crazy. They're like super hardcore. And then even when you're there, they're very meticulous about the amount of hours you got to put in, the amount of books you're reading, and the music you're transcribing. And if you're in groups, they're doing labs every Friday, and everybody gets there's a big critique from faculty and from your peers. Like it's a really incredible place for growing, not only as a musician but as a person, because they hold you to high standards, not only music, when you're rehearsing, when you're showing up, what you're saying, what you're doing. So I guess that it was like extremely influential and important in especially musically. I felt that before and after. When I get out of school, I felt like, man, like I'm scary at this in a good way, yeah. And in regards to like the musicianship, and so, but like they say, diamonds are created. Pressures create diamonds, and I'm a big believer on that, because I came from not knowing anything and just having the hunger and asking teachers and people, hey, I want to learn this. I'm passionate about it. If I gotta put in entire days or weeks or months or years, I don't care. I'm in this for the long run, and just I'm super passionate about that stuff. So yeah, it's incredibly formative, both over at Miami-Dade College and University of Miami. Yeah, I have a lot of people to thank for. People I'm forgetting: Tim Cookta, Rick Dahl, George Mazzeo. I mean, even going back to my prior teachers. I mean, I've had so many good mentors and teachers that that taught me along the way that language. I think it's important, especially music. You got to learn the language. You got to live the life. You got to be in the places. And yeah. So super. Back to the to what we're talking about. Very influential. Very very much an important part of my development as a musician to this day.
Fabulous, amazing. Pat says she met Pat in New York.
Oh my God, he's amazing.
Look.
Yeah. Oh my God, amazing. Yeah, he's something else. He's not from this world. We try to just embrace his music. That's all we can do.
How did you transition from performing to producing? I know you were doing both like all the time, but
since I was 15, I have always had a curiosity for. I always had a knack for writing and recording music, because I was like, man, it's a beautiful thing to be able to hold something in time and just document that and have it there as a record. Since one of my best friends in the world, he was a rapper coming up, and I just happened to be that guy that was kind of like curious. And I had like no gear, I had like a super cheap laptop, and because people see me now and they see the studio.
It's amazing, guys. It's like state-of-the-art spaceship, humongous. Oh my goodness. Hi, Kevin. You're joining us. This Alex is amazing.
Oh, thank you. But it didn't start there. I mean, people always think like, I just kind of like
worked really hard to get there.
I mean, I started with literally like a $80 keyboard and like a laptop, and like just like with my friends, just trying to make beats and trying to like figure out musically. And I would play guitar, and then we'd go to another studio and then do all these things and then learn. I had no idea about anything, so it's just a lot of questions. I'm still curious, I say, okay, recording music. How do I record music? Okay, I need a computer. Okay, got a computer. Great. So what's next? I need a microphone. Oh, what does a microphone do? Oh, it captures sound. Okay, where does it capture it into? Oh, you need a software. And you need to translate the analog signal to digital. And then it plays back analog. Oh, okay. And how do I do that? Well, I need a device. Okay, what device is that? Oh, it's an interface. Oh, okay. So you start, and then I just, there's no YouTube, there's no handbook. So it's literally just asking questions, going to a store, talking to some dude, talking to another dude, and just finding information that way. Which I think it's one of the biggest assets I have, because, you're kind of off of the grid. You can always find a way, I think that's the biggest challenge with people nowadays, is that information is so immediate that the value of the information is kind of like, they don't, it's not high on the list. And I think that's something that's dangerous, because a lot of the biggest things I've learned in my life have been through doing, and being present, and, so it's definitely that's one of the biggest things I'm always practicing, is being open and listening and in the moment and present. I try to avoid the phone if I can. I know we all have to use it and work with. I'm right now speaking from it, but I try to keep it as minimal as possible, unless I'm productively doing something. But yeah, I've been producing since I was 15, producing music at the same time as I was developing the music side of things. But it's been kind of like hand in hand. Being a producer and a musician, for me, they were equally important. That's kind of like I had a little bit of an argument one time with a teacher, because he wouldn't understand that. He's like, but you have to put all these hours. I'm like, yeah, I understand, but I'm a little bit stubborn. Like, to me, this is equally as important when I graduate, and because music is a tough world. How do you get your brand across? How do you get your voice to cut through the clutter? You need product. You need something to show, and that's why I thought always like documenting is as important as the artwork. And even the biggest names, even Pat, even people who, I think the first time I saw Pat Metheny was in Best Buy. Like he was like the music for a Bose speaker. How powerful is that? And you're talking about a guy who's like in the, on the highest levels of improvisatory music, and he's as high in the marketing side of things. I mean, you're talking about Bose, one of the biggest brands in the world that's associated to the highest quality. He's the face for it for a reason, So, there's a lot of things to unpack there, but basically, the production. I always thought recording and production are as important as the craft, because you can be super talented, but if nobody knows, no one knows.
And that's why we're here, spreading your story. And Patricia, Pat is beyond genius.
Oh yeah, we could spend.
But
10 lifetimes talking about Pat. How awesome he is.
We're going to talk about the story about you founding Noisematch Studios.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting one. Um, so I graduated from UM, and then had this idea to look at I could produce music and try to pursue it going through. And I tried being an intern in different studios, and it just kind of didn't pan out. And there was an opportunity um, that presented itself to purchase a warehouse in Wynwood, which now it's like a hotspot in Miami, but it wasn't a hotspot before. It was kind of like
Uh-huh.
a little bit of a not risky, but just you have to be really confident and trust that it's going to change over time. Uh, and it kind of ended up working out. It's kind of like one of those things to build it and they will come, and it's kind of what happened. We started as a smaller project, and then just the space kind of lent itself to something bigger. At the time, the viability of the project was, it enabled us to do something bigger and do a big space and kind of cater to like the high end part of the market in music. So I had a lot of people that were up and coming like me that were in labels and that were doing all their things in music. So that kind of helped me, connect with super high level people early on.
Mm.
Uh, and yeah, and and what a funny, like they say your network is your net worth. I mean, that is, I mean,
So true.
basically, I mean, I'll tell you that what's one of the biggest records that I was involved in. So, the Natalie Cole and Espanol record that came from my arranging teacher in the University of Miami, because a connection from that. They were looking for a studio that they didn't know Miami had. At the time, I had like a really cool room that was suited for a big band, and it ended up working out. So, I got to live her last record. Like, it was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had, and it's unrepeatable because that's never going to happen again. And in a time where music is going to like home studios and everybody's overdubbing everything, and this was all live, and I even got to hang with her and record some vocals in the studio. She got excited. I thought she was going to do the vocals somewhere else, but she's like, "Oh no, let's do a booth." So we made this a makeshift booth in one of the hallways, and she recorded some vocals, and it was a beautiful experience. It was like an incredible experience. Um, and then I met Alejandro Sanz, which is our first gold record as a studio and the first project I ever did in the studio, and that came out of a tennis match because I have a friend that plays tennis with him, and my dad used to play professional tennis, and he said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we all got together and played?" And long story short, not only did we play and we won, of course, um,
Of
but
course.
he was so nice. He was so nice because he caught me by surprise. He basically said, "Oh, look, Alex, I've heard you have a studio, blah blah, and you're opening it, and we hadn't even opened it." And like the day after, I got a call from an engineer from his side, and I didn't believe it was from him, and I tried calling them, and like they wouldn't answer, so I wouldn't know. And poor guy, I ended up holding this guy for like 30 minutes outside my studio, which at the time it wasn't even open. It was just like a warehouse. Nobody knew what was going on inside. And next thing you know, the day after, there's John Mayer's drummer coming in from LA. There's this guy coming from Argentina, like one of the biggest names in live music. His bass players coming in. The director of the London Symphony, who's also producers, coming in. So all these like big shots are coming in, and there I am, like not knowing anything. Like I received the training for the console from the people from the UK. I bought a like solid state logic like console. It's like a super high end recording console, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I just said yes. I mean, that's life. You just gotta hop on the trains as they come, if you can,
Mhm.
and then figure it out as you go. So yeah, I've just hopped on it, and it was great. And it had there was a lot of things happening that didn't go like nothing ever goes perfect, but I'm just glad that I was able to one be there and be a part of it and contribute to that. Yeah, and it killed me because I asked Alejandro, which is pretty much a superstar. He's like the Latin Sting, and I asked him, "Hey, but you have all these options. Like, why pick me, our studio?" And you know what he said?
Hmm.
Why not? It just killed me. It just like I was like, well, I did not expect that. He says, look, man, I'm gonna do my thing regardless. You have a beautiful studio. If it doesn't work out, I can re-record it. I mean, I don't have to, but if he basically run through all the contingencies that look, what worst case scenario is, I create a new friendship, a new relationship, I come up with an amazing record, and boom, the rest is history. And that's kind of what happened, you know. So he understood things at a higher level and kind of taught me a lot from that day. So a lot of the times, when I think about things, I always keep an open mind because you never know. You know, it's like, why not, right? Why not? And I feel like if the world moved a little bit more like that, a lot of things would be different in a positive way. And that was a big learning lesson on day one, basically on the first day of ever recorded music in my studio. That was pretty epic and something I'm super proud of for sure. Yeah.
Lesson here, ladies and gentlemen, just say yes. Do it. Figure it out. And obviously you're connected. You've got the ignite in you.
Yeah. Shout out to Mikey Pumpkin. What's up?
Yeah. So one of the other little secret weapons you have is building trust with these artists. How do you do that? Besides those beautiful penetrating eyes.
Oh, they don't trust me, man. I don't think no, you know what? I don't think a lot of I think one of those it's not so much about trust, it's just so much about, I guess, yeah, trust is a big factor, but it's just being able to hang, just being able to be a human being, not being in the way, just being present. That's really it. It's being present, right? Actually, I just remember an anecdote in that session. There was a time where his assistant or somebody pulled a camera on and they took a picture with a flash, and like he turned around and looked at me, and it was kind of awkward because I was like, I guess he thought that I was like taking a picture, but without telling him or something. And then when the assistant went, no, I was me that took the picture, right? Because I respect privacy. I'm I don't tell people anything until like the session ends, or I ask them, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? I just show respect. When you exercise respect and people give it back, and it's one of those things that I'm very careful when I'm there, because a lot of times people don't even know they're there, and if they're celebrities, sometimes it can be a problem than knowing they're there. So I always try to be mindful of like, hey, can I say this? Can I do this? Can I blah blah blah? So I guess that is a form of respect that is kind of implicit. It's just kind of, they understand if you can be like that, and you're very mindful and aware of what's happening in this situation. I think that just gets you a spot in the comfort zone, and that's important because it's very personal when you're doing the studio. I mean, you're isolated from the world. It's like soundproof. You're like a very small group of people. You're defining something. Whether you're just in the room listening, you're part of that experience. It affects the outcome. So it's kind of interesting. Even if you're not in music, if you're in that room, you're gonna get asked, "Hey, what do you think?" It's always a very interesting experience being in the studio. Like, I don't take it for granted. Every day that I'm there, I'm just like, wow, this is a very interesting. It's a very different experience from like day to day, stuff. Yeah,
Magic time.
yeah, it's pretty magical for sure. Yeah.
Good lesson here, ladies and gentlemen. When you run across a celebrity or someone, please don't invade them. Please treat them with respect, and ask before you take a picture and say, hey, and wait until they're finish their meal or whatever they're doing. Don't interrupt the conversation. Be very respectful and mindful, and you'll get a nice picture out of it. Most of them are very, very nice. Yes.
Yeah, and sometimes the thing is like, when people come, it's beyond, because I feel like that's when how can I phrase this in a way that makes sense? So when people are asking for a picture, it's their ego speaking. It's just like, I want to be in front of this person to showcase that I was with them. With what we do is kind of like completely disconnected. It's not even about that. I don't really care if I don't have the picture happens because they want to do it, because they feel comfortable that they want to, hey man, I saw your wall, can I take a picture? Like, I had an instance with Lenny Kravitz. He's like, I want to be in that wall. Can we take the picture? I didn't even bring it up. He's like, yeah, sure, man. I love it. I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But that comes, so because it's not about me, it's about them, right? When we're working with someone, it's about their time. They're investing the time in us and us in them. So that's why a lot of people get that, they don't seem to understand how to move forward and why things are not happening to them. And they're working really hard and they're manifesting, and they're not really being, they're not serving enough. And I'm always big on that. Like, this life is about serving, whether you understand it or not at the moment. It's just, the more you understand it, the more like life opens its doors and just, gives you paths that you don't even imagine. So, and I'm a testament of that. I mean, to this day, I mean, there's just things that just you might consider luck, but they're not. They're just, they happen because you're open and just, it comes down to being a decent human being. And even if you're, you can have your personality, but as long as you're at the end of the day, if you're a good person, people are usually pretty cool with that and pretty friendly and open.
Yes, and it makes life so much nicer if we all did it every day, all the time, and just are mindful. You know how much people smile when you hold the door for them, especially if they're like further away, or
Yeah.
cleaning
I'm
up after
extreme.
your
I'm extreme about that, but that's because I got an upbringing, pretty solid from mom. Shouts out to mom. Yeah, I'm that
shouts
guy.
out to mom, raise your right. Hi, mom. Love moms.
Yeah.
How do you balance technical excellence with creative intuition in your studio?
You gotta, you just gotta show up. I don't think there's a
Balance.
necessarily a balance per se. Creatively, there's, I've learned, when you do this professionally and you do anything professionally, it's about doing it. Some days you're gonna feel great. Some days you're gonna feel terrible. Some days it's gonna be amazing. Some days you're not gonna feel disconnected. But as long as you show up, because sometimes you might show up and something might be terrible, you might be feeling bad, but you listen to it with, you let it rest, and you come back to it, and maybe something that's really amazing. You maybe just weren't tuning in as, but you had to let it out. So all of these creative things need to have an outlet. Whether a lot of the time people get caught up in, oh, I need to be inspired, I need this. They were looking for the perfect scenario, and the perfect scenario doesn't exist. The biggest things in the world happen not by chance. It's just opportunity meets that right moment, and if you don't allow that moment to happen, it's just kind of hard, because you can spend a lifetime trying to make that moment happen, and it'll never come. It comes from just being there, being present, being active, and just doing stuff. Nike knows what's up. Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. So to do
Yeah.
that, you have to have good basic take care of yourself stuff. How do you take care of yourself?
Oh, you gotta understand your value. That's number one. I mean, that's like very important. Especially in an industry that's super cutthroat, whether it's modeling, acting, music, finance. It doesn't really matter. People think like music's somewhat, I don't know, more sensitive or more, this or that. And I think it's just the same. It's just, you got to know your worth, and when you know your worth, you're comfortable in your own skin. And that's something that shows, and that's something that it doesn't matter if you're introverted or extroverted. If you're just comfortable in your own skin, people gravitate towards you because you're
Mhm.
just open and cool and understand it. And when somebody tries to threaten you or tries to stomp you, and you respectfully, deal with them as best as you can. And but it becomes such a minuscule chapter that it's just like, well, it happened, whatever, so be it. It has to happen. It wouldn't. Nothing comes from. I think the biggest learning comes from mistakes and just sour moments. We don't learn anything major from the success, the wins. It's nice when it happens, like when you see somebody winning a tournament, like holding a trophy. It's great, but the learning didn't happen there. That's just the enjoyment of success. But the road to that, all the stress, the training, the losses, the being nervous, like hoping and working towards something hard. That's, when you get to the success, you kind of almost miss that part too.
Right. Yeah. Because you're so into it, it's just part of it, and you just kind of move on to the next thing because life is so
Yeah.
exciting and we're so lucky to be here. And Eric, hi. Yes, he says, yes, just do it. Just do it. What are the biggest misconceptions people have about record producers, you think?
That is the coolest thing in the world. All you do is make music all day and get money, get tons of money for just being cool and like living your dream, and that's your passion or whatever. That's the movie, the Hollywood movie, right? That's like the Instagram highlight reel. That's like when you see on Instagram, it's like, you know,
Perfect
but
in every way. Yeah, just like
yeah,
waking up
but
like this.
yeah, like sometimes people see on Instagram, they see and they wow, like mesmerized about some things, and it's like there's a whole story. There's like stories on how people get to a place, and that's the interesting part. But so, and being a producer per se, there's so many things you got. If you're a good one, there's levels to anything, but if you want to be a good producer, you got to listen to so much music and know so many languages and different things. Of course, there's levels. Like I said, there's like, but if you want to be at a high level, it takes a lifetime. I don't think it's something that you can just do, empirically in like a couple of years and cool and do it. I think it's something that you have to live with it. Live with it. To be at the level of somebody like Quincy or one of the big producers. So that for me, it's like a life quest. It's part of what I do. It's never ending. It's just kind of, right now, I just happen to be here, but who knows what's going to happen in 5-10 years, or continuing that growth quest and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be there watching you.
Yes.
How do you approach working with up and coming artists versus industry veterans?
To me, it's, one of the same. I think just new artists are just kind of more eager to learn, and they're very much like, it was forward push. Right? They just they need patience. They need someone to hold them down and be like, hey man, like, no need to rush. Cause like, if you rush, you're going to fall on your face. Right. Mm-hmm. And you want to give yourself the space and time to understand what you're doing. Sometimes people just are rushing into doing things. With the veterans, it's more like, there's not a lot to do. It's just kind of like hang with them and watch them do their thing. It's like, cool. You need anything? You need coffee? You need water? Are you feeling okay? Great. Let's try this. Let's try that. And boom. And within 10 minutes, you have something amazing. That's, they pay their dues, so to speak. So yeah, it happens very fast. It's more a matter of like, wow, I was lucky to be there.
Yeah. What trends in music production are you excited about now or concerned about?
I'm excited. I don't know. I'm not. Well, I don't know. It's kind of a weird. We're in a weird place right now with all the AI stuff. I'm very much a purist. So I am the Andrew Tate of music, I guess, in that way, that I am a purist, and there's a high level of art there. So a lot of the tools that, for productivity, I think they're great. I think for music, they suck. I think they have their place for people who want to, you want to sketch an idea or whatever. But if you play music and you really, really play music, I think it kind of takes everything away, everything that's fun away from music. Right. So, I'm just excited to be in that place where I can play music, and just, I'm always excited about, how can I do this, or taking a sound or taking an idea to something different that maybe I've heard before, but it's my own version of it. And how can I make it my own? Like and I feel like that's a universal fact. Like, and that's the beautiful thing about music. And that's why AI fails in producing music, because everybody wants their own unique footprint. And AI is kind of quite the opposite. It's like, everybody's the same, because you're just pressing a button and it's regurgitating something that existed, right? But sometimes you, by tweaking, doing your own things, and and can you tweak AI to do this? Yes, but in the end, that taste that you develop and all these choices, they're only learned by doing. So there's no algorithm. The only algorithm is here. So that's what I'm excited about, to see more people use that internal algorithm and do these things that that just push the boundaries, and in that way, not using things as they are, as tools. Yeah. So
yeah.
Beautiful.
Who are some of the artists or producers who inspire you right now?
Myself. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I want to pull a Snoop Dogg. I want to thank myself for keeping up with me all these years. Nah, there's so much. You look at my Spotify playlist, and there's just so many, from like reggae to metal to Latin music to jazz to R&B, Brazilian music. It's so nice nowadays. You can just go to, and the algorithms are so nice. You select something and you can go on a quest of discovering endless amount of amazing music. But they're always the ones that stand out are the ones that are dedicated the most to their craft, and I'm like always a huge fan. But a lot of the people that I listen to now are either dead, or they're very particularly good at what they do, like in their genres of music. You know, like in reggae, like people like Stephen Marley, huge fan. Bands like Tribal Seeds. In the metal scene, there's so many things. I don't know. I could go on forever. Like, I'm a big Slipknot fan. At the same time, I'm a big, Sting fan. I'm a big, fan of anything that has to do with jazz. So I'm terrible. I have so many influences. I couldn't tell you. I'm excited about everything. Every time I turn on the radio, it's something exciting. Yeah, except for some Latin urban genres, which I'm not too keen on. But that's a whole different story. Yeah.
You've helped shape the Miami sound. Where do you see the scene heading next?
I don't know, man. I want to do my own scene. That's all I can say. I think it had its place and it's cool. It's gonna keep going, but yeah, it's interesting because Miami shifts a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The culture changes. I don't know, we're in a weird place. I don't know, Miami particularly right now. There's always a big urban movement. There's always like a Latin movement. Yeah, let's see. I'm excited to see. It is in my corner of the world. I'm kind of like a little bit on my own island, so to speak, right?
Beautiful, yeah.
I'm kind of pushing my own way, but yeah, Miami always has something going on. I mean, it's a hot spot for many different things, and culturally, it's bound to, if people get together to create something amazing. And there's always something. I mean, there's local bands that are like incredible, like Suena Lo Sound System, Palo, you know, that are very unique. You would only see that in Miami, and I think that we need more of that to come through, because that's super. I mean, there's nothing that compares to live music and people, actual musicians doing their thing. And there's just so much talent in Miami, and I'm, there's so many musicians that are incredible down here. I think it's more, we need to get together more and do more music, and do more of that. Yeah. Versus produce too much music or think about the product. I think the product comes second, but the music comes first. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Patricia has a curious question for you. She's interested in what is your favorite drum kit? DW,
Pearl. You're gonna put me against the wall like that? No way. All of them. I love all of them. I love everybody. I love it. I mean, I love every single drum brand. I just happen to gravitate towards Yamaha because that's what I grew up with, and like I love Yamaha, but I also love Ludwig. I love DW. I love freaking Tama. I mean, they all have something special for me. But yeah, the sound for me, it's the Yamaha recording custom. That's what I have in the studio. Yeah, I grew up listening to like Vinny and Steve Gadd, and they all were like Yamaha guys. So that for me at the time was huge. But yeah, I can play anything. I love all the brands. Yeah, I know.
And you love all the instruments too. Tell everyone how many instruments you play.
I play basically anything that's not woodwinds or strings, but yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I try at least. You
should see
some
his
better
studio.
than others.
Oh my gosh! And the new podcast studio. I should have done this podcast in your studio. What was I thinking? Estupida la cabeza.
That's very cool.
So what's next for you? You got this new studio, new projects. What's your big dream?
Oh man, you gotta stay tuned. You gotta follow me to see the journey. I'm not gonna give it away, but there's working on a couple of really cool music projects, and yeah, it's gonna see, basically you're gonna see a lot of what I do, more of it. Yeah, as a performer, as a producer. I'm super excited about it. But yeah, the only way to find out is to follow me everywhere. Hey.
And Eric put up where they can follow Alex J, by the way.
So add Alex J on Instagram. That's a good start always. Alex J on Instagram.
Hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Alex J on Instagram.
Yeah.
And he's at noisematch.com. But Instagram is his jam, so hit up Instagram. And Eric, will you pop up those little pictures of when I met Alex, please? You can kind of see his studio a little bit in the background if you look in.
Hey.
So this is way to his studio, and he was so charming. I think I took pictures of like 20 people as they came in. There it is. Alex J. There you go. Instagram.
There we go.
Go in right now and join in. And yes, here we are being James Bond. Woo!
Yeah.
Because he was
Love
amazing.
that.
I mean, look at this. And there was like, 20 other people in the room and woo! And here we are on the rooftop with Mikey. And it was a lovely evening. It was so wonderful for everyone to come out and meet everybody and chat and get to know each other. And there's the gold record. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! Do you want to talk about that a little bit there?
Oh man. Well, that's funny because it happened. The whole Despacito thing happened because I've known Luis Fonsi for a while. He's an incredible human being. Shouts out to Luis. And yeah, it's kind of one of those things that we were just recorded the song and then we posted the picture when we recorded, and then next thing you know, people were calling me, "Well, man, I saw you. Remember that post that you posted in December? The song is going global," and then it became a global phenomenon. It's so funny because I don't think nobody would have imagined the level it was gonna. It became something kind of larger than life. At that point. But it's funny. It's so nice to see for Luis because he's such a hard worker. He's put in the work since he was like so young. And also that Yankees on the monster. He's like the Latin Michael Jackson in the urban world. I mean, he's super talented. People have no idea the magic that happens in so little time, and it's crazy to be a part of that. To it's almost surreal that when I was there in the room, I was like, wow, this is just such a treat and it was so well deserved too. Like people have, traced a path in their career like through hard work and through doing stuff. So I can only be proud for them, and I'm glad to be a part of their process because I think that's the real magic there, that being embedded into someone else's vision like that, and being able to enjoy it with them in there. So,
what words of wisdom do you have for young, aspiring recording artists so that they can be their best selves?
Quit now while you're ahead. Become an influencer. Get out of here, man. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's getting harder than ever before. That shouldn't be a deterrent from keeping the dream alive and trying and doing. Just I guess just being open, just learning about a lot of different things. Music is like anything. You need a product, you need a brand, you need to put yourself out there, you need to have confidence, you need to build that vision before anyone believes in it, and no one's gonna believe in it more than you. So if you don't believe in it enough, and you don't think you're enough, there's a lot that you have to do in order to place yourself in a point where people will consider you important, because that's really the hardest thing. Is how do you do that? How do you become synonymous with what your dream is, right? And when people say, oh, he's the guy that's doing it, oh, that's the girl that's doing that, and that that should be your goal, that should be the end game. How do I do that? And that's built step by step. There's not a formula to it. Just gotta kind of work hard and just keep it present and know that things might take time, and we were built with no patience. Like we want everything super fast and like, oh, I want to do this thing in 5 years. If it doesn't work in 5 years, I want to know. You got to throw all those scripts outside your head. You just gotta, if it makes sense, it makes sense. If you're working hard and you're seeing something happen, you continue on that quest until someone will see it, and if it's good enough and you're putting your heart out in it and you're being sincere on doing it for the right reasons and you're not hurting anyone, that just kind of just shows. The passion shows, and nobody wins a world tournament without being a hometown hero. So you gotta start being your hometown hero, getting people to know you and love you. And if you do it well enough, it will start spreading on its own. And then the more you grow and support, if you keep that attitude and you keep that open heart and open mind, things they'll happen, But the effort has to be consistent and the focus has to be consistent. And there's just so many shiny objects. You got to focus. And and just be around people that support that vision and people who know how to keep you in check too. Some people start getting success and they forget. And those are all kind of handbrakes that prevent you from moving forward even on a more aggressive level. And the highest performers are usually the most humble. At least from my experience, from having friends in sports at a high level to having friends in music at a high level, they're always the hardest working and the super humble.
Yeah, you always stay humble and kind, like you. How do you do that? How do you do that?
I don't know, man. I just like people. I like people. I like to, I'm I don't think too much about it. I just like honestly, I'm generally interested in what's going on. When I'm present, I'm present. Like here, I'm here. I'm not anywhere else. I'm not texting or looking at. I'm here. So I guess that's one of those things that a lot of people. Maybe it's one of the things that I've identified as something that's particular. That a lot of the people that don't, that get through life, don't really, if you're not attentive, you're not present. It's hard because life can pass you by. And yeah, I don't know. It's just yeah. I always like to meet new people, understand, why are we here, hear their stories, share things, because we're about stories. I mean, there's when you meet someone or you're talking to someone, there's not a single instance where you're not gonna talk about something that happened to you. It's so funny. Like once you start identifying it, it's like every time you hear a story, you're talking with someone, somebody says something, you're like, oh, by the way, because it's a thing. We're about story, we're about sharing. So I'm always very passionate about that interaction, about how I want to know. I want to know what's on the other side of that fence and what's there. Just curious. And that's something that's always cool. When people show that, it's nice to be around people like that. Because they're like, oh wow, yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, well, how about what do you think? Or so.
Makes life so much more exciting.
Yeah. If not, it's like just like you're just going through life like freaking like I don't know, like a stone somewhere.
No, Patricia says, Alex, you are impressive. Must be a Virgo? When's your birthday?
Virgo, no. Sorry, no, I'm a Cancer.
When's your birthday?
Yeah.
July
July 10th.
July 10th. Aha.
Yeah.
Aha. No. Cancer, wise voice, truth, great interview. Well,
Oh, thank
thank
you, Patricia.
you.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank
And I
you.
know you have to run, but give us one good story for the world.
One good story for the world.
Yeah.
In the words of Michael Jackson, heal the world, make a better place for you and for me. That's about it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's you know, you just plant what you want to see. Like it's like life's like a tree. Like, what do you want to see? You want to see flowers? You want to see a crooked, tree that's dying? Like that. I guess a lot of those things happen by design. You're a master of your own destiny. There is obviously there's a word in Spanish which I'm trying to see if there's any translation, but it's beyond coincidence. It's like divine coincidence, like diosidencia, which is like coincidencia is coincidence, but diosidencia is like a divine godly coincidence, and those things don't happen by chance. They happen because they have to happen, and the more aware that you are with your own frequency and the frequency of success and happiness, I think those things just kind of like they're always there. It's like people say, oh, God willing, God always wants. It's us that we make it hard. It's just a matter of like being a person, not being an asshole, part of my French, just being present and being about life, because yeah, it's so short. We need to enjoy it. It's just don't get caught up in anything that's not gonna add to your life. I guess that's what I'm trying to say to myself. Even like the lowest of the lowest, you're like, man, I'm alive, I'm moving. There's always something to look forward to. I'm never bored. If you're bored, then maybe you're just not looking at the right place. There's always something out there. Always. Doesn't matter if you're young, you're old, you think life is over. There's always something. There's always something to be passionate about. And I'm a big believer in that, even though people try to, sometimes convince you otherwise. I think it's big, big. Always be passionate about something, and if you fall into a comfort zone, analyze why, and then find the passion, find it somewhere. It's there. It's always there. Yeah.
The divine is all around you right now. You wouldn't believe it. You've got a halo.
Oh yeah, look at that. Woohoo!
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You see that, Patricia? Look at Patty. Look at that. He's got
Yeah.
the divine circling him with light and wisdom because he was so good to be on this interview with me. I want to also
Oh man, thank you for the invite. It's so nice of you.
yes.
Cool.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I didn't have some people had asked me and I was like, I wasn't really feeling it. And then I met you and I was like, And then you start talking about podcasts, and I didn't want to be rude. I didn't like bring it up or anything. I was just like, but then you gave me an opening there at the end, and I just went, and we were talking, Mike was standing there and we were just chatting, and I said, oh, well, talking about podcasts, how would you like to be on the Cynthia Manion show? And he went, yes, just like he does. And look at where he is. God bless you.
Thank you. That's so nice.
You made my day, and it's just been fabulous. I can't wait to tell even more people about you because you are amazing.
No, you're amazing. I'm just here for the right.
You're amazing. I'm amazing. We're amazing.
Hey.
Guys, join with Instagram at Alex J. And I also want to do a little shout out to Hilda of Eastport Kitchen because she helped me work on my Spanish today. We made an agreement. I'll help her with her English. She'll help me with her Spanish. So there's hope.
Nice.
Yes. And
nice.
thank you to VIP Ignite for the introduction and the wonderful event that you held with so many wonderful people to uplift us and make a new family. Have a great evening. Listen to this again, guys. Share it out. Play it. Tell your friends. Follow Alex J. And I'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on The Cynthia Manion Show. Be good. Make good choices. Be your best self. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Cynthia. Nice to see you.